Oh, didn't see you there. Sorry, I was just eating my protein pancake. Welcome to the no BS breakdown of exactly the 8 necessary steps required to get to under 15% body fat. That's the magical number when you start seeing your abs popping out. The average American looks somewhat like this, like how I did on the left here. At least over 20% body fat. And then here's where I got extremely shredded, 7 to 8% body fat or so. This picture was taken about a month ago. I'm a little bit heavier now. I'm like 6 pounds up from here currently, but nonetheless, I'm going to give you the exact breakdown of not necessarily how to get this extremely lean, because it gets harder as you get leaner, but just the 8 steps, the 8 rules that need to be in check that you need to ensure you're following in order to start seeing your abs, okay? As simple as that. So let's go to the first step. First step is we need to set clear goals for ourselves. We need to define what exactly we're trying to do and how long it'll take to get there. The more specific, the better. Now, for example, 15% in 5 months. How do we know this? Well, let's look over here on the left. So for example, you can do something as simple as this. You go to GPT. Hey, I'm 200 pounds, 5'7". Estimate my body fat percentage. Give me a realistic time frame. That was me on the left in that first initial transformation picture. I think I'm 24 to 26. That's like average American. For a man, women are higher body fat. This includes noticeable fat around the lower abdomen. Yeah, I get it. Okay, you don't have to rub it in. I was eating like shit here. Still going to the gym, but it just shows what happens when you're still eating protein. It just shows what happens when your nutrition is not locked in. So to get to 15%, around 170 pounds. That's about accurate, because on the picture on the right, when I was 7% body fat, I was like 158. Okay, so realistic time frame, it'll give you this as well. Depending on how aggressive, it could be 4 to 5 months. If less aggressive, 6 to 7. Okay, so a realistic one that you would do from here with my example. Okay, 15% in 5 months, losing 2 pounds a week. Write the goal down. Have it clear in your mind exactly the time frame that is required and your exact goal. The more specific, the better. Again, because goals are 42% more likely to happen if written down. This is a study, and the source is in the description. It is proven that you're more likely to follow through and the goals are more likely to actually come true if you write them down. Shows how serious you are about them. It's simple. But then obviously following through with them, writing them down and doing nothing does nothing. But writing them down holds you to it more. It shows that you're serious. And the stats don't lie. Write your shit down. Get specific. Too many people hope. It will never happen when you just hope. It must be planned out. Every step. You must be intentional with your actions to ensure your goals are achieved. You don't just wake up shredded by accident. Next. Now, once we have this clear timeline of how long it'll take and what exactly we're trying to do, we need to know exactly what to do each and every day. What are we going to do different? So in order to ensure it happens, you need to calculate the amount of calories you're eating, and you need to calculate the protein you're eating as well. Now, how do we do this? Well, you go on the TDEE calculator. That's the simplest way to do it. It's somewhat accurate, more or less. But total daily energy expenditure. This is how much your body burns on a day-to-day basis with how active you are. Okay, it's like a general estimate. So is it the most accurate? Not exactly, like I said, but it's a good guideline to start. It's a good guess. Okay, put in your age, weight, height, activity level, your optional body fat percentage. You could ask ChatGPT like how I did. You send a picture and it'll guess for you. And then it'll calculate how many calories it thinks you burn on a day-to-day basis. Then what you do is, if you're trying to lose 500 calories, or if you're trying to lose a pound of fat per week, then you lower from this number that it spits out 500 calories on a day-to-day basis. If you're trying to lose 2 pounds per week, which again, you figured out in the goal in the previous slide when you wrote down exactly your timeline and your goal, then you're going to lower your calories from your TDEE by 1,000 per day, because 3,500 calories is 1 pound of body fat, okay? So in order to eat in a deficit of 3,500 calories, you need to decrease each day your caloric expenditure. You subtract 500 from that, okay? And same with 2 pounds of fat, which is a more aggressive cut, which is my goal in the example. You lower by 1,000 per day, okay? And then your protein needs to be at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I was 200 in that picture, 200 grams of protein per day, okay? And then you track. Why do you track? Because you have no other way of knowing what you're actually eating. A lot of people are like, I'm eating so little, but I'm not losing weight. You don't know how much you're eating if you're not tracking. You have no idea. You'll be 100% surprised. Most of my clients, before I even give them a meal plan, I have them track for a week so we could see actually how much they're eating and how it's affecting their body. Most of them, when they start seeing what they're actually putting in their body, they start losing weight before I give them a meal plan. Why? Because they're becoming more conscious of how much they're eating. And they're like, oh, before I even give any advice, they start losing body fat. The second that they even just, all they have to do is keep track of what's going in their body, and then they start losing weight. It's a miracle. It's crazy how it happens before I even prescribe them any calories, the specific amount of calories or protein. And then once we do that, on top of that, it's like a whole different ballgame. But track, okay? And then for the first month at least, I get it. Most people don't want to be robots and track for the rest of their life, but it really gives you, if you've never tracked before, a really good idea of the value of food. Like, I know off the top of my head, a medium banana is 150 calories and it's 33 grams of carbs. Off the top of my head. Why do I know that? Because I've tracked. And then I could keep a general guideline in my head. So I know I could add it up super quick. It's just adding to your arsenal of allowing you to have full control over your body. But try for at least a month. I recommend longer. I've done it for years, but next, okay? Now, we track our weight in the morning because we're already tracking our calories, but we need to, like I said, we need to see how it affects your body. So, butt naked, after bathroom use, no water or food first thing in the morning. Every day. I don't care who says it's counterintuitive, it's counteractive, there's no point in tracking every day. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. How is it harmful to track every day? You're getting more accurate information. Your weight on any given day could fluctuate up or down 5 pounds due to water, due to cortisol levels, stress levels increasing could help make you retain more water. And just like being sore, you have more blood circulating throughout your body. You just like, there's so many different variables that could play into your body weight. The most accurate way to really get your true body weight is by weighing yourself every single day and taking an average, dividing it by 7 after adding up every single day of the week, your body weight. Divide by 7, take a weekly average, and then compare week by week. That's the most accurate way to do it. If you're just doing it once a week, you never know. One day you could have higher cortisol, higher stress, you could get shitty sleep. Because of that, your weight is falsely increased by like 5 pounds, more than you would think. And you don't know that it's an outlier that day because you only track once that week. So tracking every day of the week gives you the most accurate information. If you want the best results, most efficient results, you need the most accurate information to work with. And then you do this alongside photos weekly because the truth is, or at the end of the day, all that matters is how you look and feel. And then we adjust the plan based on data trends on a weekly average. So let's say you're trying to lose 2 pounds a week and your weekly average one week is 181 and then your weekly average the next week is 180. You know you could drop your calories on average 500 calories more each day because on average you're trying to drop 2 pounds a week rather than 1. It's a math equation, okay? Once you understand it, it becomes so simple. Next. Now, remember consistency over perfection any day of the week. We want to follow proven plans, okay? However, and we're avoiding crash diets, so we're avoiding keto, anything like that. We don't want to cut out carbs, as you saw when I first came on here. I was eating my pancake. Nothing you can't stick to. There's no point. It'll never last. You're going to be miserable. Fitness is meant to enhance your life, not make it miserable, okay? And it's meant to be sustained after you're done dieting. It shouldn't really feel like a diet. It's a lifestyle change. Just becoming a healthier human being. And that often stems from changing your habits from the average American lifestyle. That's just, unfortunately, the average American looks the way they do because of the lifestyle that society has normalized. That's the truth, okay? So off of those habits, we need to shift them from what is normalized in America to the right healthy habits, and they compound. Taking more walks, eating more fiber, eating more whole foods, not eating breakfast unless you feel like it. It's not the most important meal of the day. Eating for fuel, not taste necessarily. It could still taste amazing, but fuel your body. Think, do I need this food? Am I actually hungry? Am I about to go work out? Like, once you start fueling your body properly, you're going to start feeling so much better. Rather than eating, oh, it's time for breakfast, I need to eat. Like, you don't need to eat if you're not hungry, ever. If you don't want to eat. And then drinking water before meals, and then eating slower, and just like small daily habits compound. It really depends on what you're currently doing that's gotten you to where you are. Analyze your life. It's hard to tell. if you don't know, if you don't know what works. But analyze your life, see what habits need to be shifted. I'm giving you great examples here, and they compound. Like the smallest things, if you read the book Atomic Habits, 1 degree off will result in a drastic change down the line. Okay, adherence beats perfection. Okay, so sticking to it. Just stick to it. As long as you can stick to it, it beats being perfect. Okay, because no one's perfect. Now, that goes to show that the all or nothing mindset is bullshit. Okay, so if you eat ice cream one night, that doesn't mean you go home and eat a whole box of pizza, or vice versa. If you eat pizza one night, you don't go home and eat a whole pint of ice cream for dessert because you're already fucked up, so it doesn't matter. That's like spilling a little bit of water on the counter and then you pour the whole bottle because you already spilled a little. Or, cracking your phone a little bit on the sidewalk so you beat it with a baseball bat. Like, you're just doing way more damage than needed to be done, okay? And if you just get right back on track, it'll be absolutely fine. It's better to be consistently good than occasionally perfect. Next. Now, we ride the momentum wave. We stay focused, okay? We lock in, eliminate distractions. It's hard, but you got to be able to say no to certain things that you know are not going to benefit you. Not all the time, as we talked about in the last slide, but a lot of the time. You got to be able to prioritize your priorities. Define your priorities. How bad do you want it? Because the truth is, you're going to have to do above average things if you want to have above average results. You're going to have to break the norm, what most people are doing. But at this point, momentum is built. Each little win, each little healthy meal, each little workout is a momentum builder. Over time, you start seeing results, and that's when motivation comes in. Once you got motivation, that's when you start loving the process. And then, of course, getting support, surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals or a coach to hold you accountable. I currently have a coach. I'm a coach myself, and I still have a coach. Why? Because accountability is always beneficial, no matter how much you know. It's not a knowledge thing. LeBron has a coach. Chris Bumstead, the arguable best bodybuilder in the world, has a coach. Every great athlete, person, successful business person, they've learned from other people. And they always admit that they don't know it all. And they've got a team, they got social support around them. You think Chris Bumstead doesn't know how to track his calories, his macros? You think LeBron doesn't know how to play basketball? These people all have coaches. So, and they have a social support system around them. And it just makes it easier than having goals yourself, Makes it harder to break goals that you tell other people than just something that's in your head. So it makes you stick to it more, makes you adhere to it. But that being said, if you're looking for that kind of support, I dropped a link down below in the description for a one-on-one free consultation call to see if you're a good fit for me. I'm very limited with my spots, but we can check out if you're a good fit, see if I can help on a free call. So, next slide. Now, 10,000 steps daily, number 6. It's the most enjoyable form of cardio. You don't need to make yourself miserable. You don't need to sprint on the treadmill. You don't need to do HIIT workouts. Those all suck. I don't run. I don't do HIIT. Just walk. The more you walk, it's one of those habits that adds up so much. And you take breaks up the day. It clears your mind. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It's what humans are meant to do. And it's so easy to stick to. 10,000 steps minimum. If you get 12,000, that's even better. If you get 15,000, it's such a hack to getting lean, I'm telling you. In conjunction with a good diet. You can't eat like shit and then expect to get lean no matter what you do. But in conjunction with a good diet, it's an amazing tool, an additional weapon to get shredded. Couldn't leave that out. It's huge, absolutely huge, that when integrated within your life. If you're at 3,000 steps a day and you're like, I'm eating so low, why can't I lose? The second you do this, your fat loss will be jump-started. As long as you're actually eating what you say you are. If you're actually eating a low amount. Because most people think they are actually, and they're not. If you're not losing fat, you're not eating in a deficit. So you either got to eat less or move more, and this is an amazing way to move more that's sustainable and enjoyable. Okay? Next, weight training properly. I say properly because a lot of people, they either train, a common problem is overtraining, undertraining as well, but just not doing the most efficient workouts. I used to go to the gym like 7 days a week. It was in there 2 hours a day. And I was just doing way too much, and I looked the exact same after like a year, 2 years. Like, how is that even possible? And now I'm going to the gym 3 to 5 times a week. When I got shredded in that first initial transformation picture, 4 times a week, max. Upper, lower, split. It allowed time for recovery. I was doing 2 to 3 sets max. On my compound lifts, like a bench press or a squat, I was doing 2 sets. Because if you're going that hard on such a intense, strenuous lift, you can't really do more than 2 sets if you're actually pushing yourself to the level that is intense enough, the most efficient level. And you're not just doing junk volume. Junk volume is going in the gym, doing sets that don't actually result in growth, that don't actually push you out of your comfort zone. And then 3 for less, like a bicep curl, like an isolation. You could do 3 sets, but I don't do 4 sets at all. I used to do 5 sets of 5 on bench, 5x5s, like way too much. And then you hit every muscle group twice a week. That's why I did upper, lower, upper, lower. Now, as you're a beginner, you can see in this visual here, anything will fly. If you're a beginner, you're going to your gym for the first time, you could do like a few bicep curls, not go nearly, like you won't need to like strain yourself at all, and you're gonna grow because it's something new. You never put any bit of resistance under a full range of motion through any lift, or you're getting back to it after a long time. You're gonna grow from such little volume. But as you get more intense, as you get more advanced, you need more volume. So this amount right here, 3 to 5 times weekly, 2 to 3 sets max, hitting every muscle group twice a week, being intense, but giving yourself so much time to recover, that's like the optimal amount, because you're intense enough, but you're also not overtraining. You're only going 3 to 5 times a week. So that's like the perfect medium. It's the most optimal way to grow. Maximize recovery, maximize growth. When you go too much, you're actually doing more breakdown, more harm than good. And when you're not doing enough, you're not maximizing the amount of growth potential you have. Okay? Now, last one, but extremely important. All of them are extremely important, but this one is you can't avoid this one. 7 to 8 hours a night. You gotta get quality sleep. It's so detrimental if you're sleeping less than this. Okay? Sleeping helps you burn fat instead of muscle, because you're going to lose weight if you're in a deficit, but the type of weight you lose is determined greatly based on how much sleep you get. Even if your protein's high, you're more likely to lose muscle mass if you're not sleeping enough. And that's for many reasons, including your hormone levels are fucked up when you don't sleep, and cortisol is spiked, which is your stress hormone, when you don't sleep. So your body is more prone to holding fat. Okay? Muscle repair and recovery happens during sleep as well. So in order to rebuild and recover your muscles properly after a workout, you need to sleep. And we all want to look like lean and toned and jacked and lean and shredded, right? No one wants to lose muscle mass. It's never, ever a goal for anyone. That makes 0 sense. It's beneficial in every single aspect of life to have muscle and have lower body fat, okay? So this is how we ensure that happens. Sleep balances your hunger. So your ghrelin is your hunger hormone, and leptin is your satiety hormone. So ghrelin is increased when you have lack of sleep, and leptin is decreased when you have lack of sleep. So that means you just feel hungrier when you don't sleep, and you're more likely to overeat. Obviously, when you sleep a lot, your energy is higher, so you're able to move more, get better workouts, burn more calories. And as I said here, your cortisol spikes, your stress hormone, your testosterone decreases when you sleep less for men and women. This is detrimental to fat loss and muscle maintenance / growth, okay? So that's everything. That's everything put into 8 steps condensed on how to properly get lean, get under 15% body fat, okay? Now, I broke down an exact day in the life of how I get 6-pack abs while sitting at a desk all day at a 9-to-5 desk job. That's in the description. So that's my day in the life. I'll walk you through exactly what I do as well and get more into depth about the specific habits and how I get me and my clients results, like an exact breakdown walkthrough. That's kind of what this was too. I try to give as much value as I can for you. I want to see you succeed, but I hope it helped. Let me know if it did help. I'll make more content like this, but appreciate you watching to the end here, and like and subscribe. Don't forget, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.